I don't even know what my channel is anymore or what it is intended to be. You know, we jump from sustainability to thrifting to Harry Potter to serial killers. Listen, I don't like to feel limited. I like to discuss all of my interests with you guys and express myself. This is my channel. I want to show you all sides of me, so I'm having a great time filming whatever I feel like that day. And today I feel like talking about serial killer merch yet again. And I'm already demonetized, so if you get an ad on this video, rejoice with me. So it's been about 7 months since we last talked about serial killers, and the last time we talked about it was serial killer tattoos. I will link it up here if you have not seen that video yet. And I still come across things, you guys tag me in things, which I love because that makes it super easy for me to find this kind of stuff. And it's usually on Instagram, so I save everything to my killer merch folder, and today we're gonna open up that folder and see the god-awful stuff that's in there. I think there's definitely a spectrum of bad to worse when it comes to serial killer things. You know, romanticizing killers is nothing new. You have your serial killer memes, you got your merch items, you have tattoos, which is like the ultimate worst thing you could do because it's permanent. But there's one merch item in this video that is so bad I have to blur it completely, so you've been warned. So the first disclaimer is one that I've never made, but I felt compelled to do so in this video particularly, and that is a lot of the merch items in this video come from independent companies. Sometimes it's from independent artists who are commissioned to make these things. So I don't want to call out the artists themselves necessarily, because not all are created equal. I think some go in with the intention of creating this disgusting stuff and like making a lot of it, and that's all they make. And some are just commissioned to by other people. I understand you want to keep business going and you might take some questionable commissions here and there. Also want to point out that not every item these companies sell is serial killer merch, or it's related to serial killer but it's not bad. So there is a gray area. You know, some of their items simply say true crime on it, right? And that's a little bit more vague and reasonable than putting like Bundy on a shirt, you know? A lot of these are small businesses and I don't want you guys to send them hate or anything like that. These videos are purely about spreading awareness about these things and why they might be a tad insensitive. No one is going to stop anyone from wearing these. If you don't find these that bad, great, you do you, but maybe think about it a little bit from a different perspective. That's all. So I want to start with a few random things that aren't shirts, because that seems to be a majority of what I find on when it comes to serial killer merch, is like t-shirts and things like that. I think it's just the most popular. First up, we have the, let me scoot over. Should we have it over here? So this is a great example of someone who was commissioned to do something that's highly inappropriate, but I don't necessarily blame them, even though they agreed to do it. It's kind of like the tattoo artists that agreed to do portraits of serial killers. Like, who's to blame? Anyway, we have some serial killer nails. They have actual portraits on their nails, and then the other, you know, nails have like blood dripping. I do see in the top line of their caption, negative comments will be deleted. That tells me that they are used to getting comments on this post. Next we have this snow globe of Gacy. Interesting. A lot of the times what I see on these posts when you read the comments is negativity, right? Because obviously people are like, are we really gonna glorify these people? Like, which is great to see. That makes me so happy. Next we have another thing that was a commissioned art piece from this person who makes Disney ears, custom Disney ears. So it's a Richard Ramirez Disney ear thing, and the caption says, "You guys are crazy, I like that shit." Okay, so next we have enamel pins. Enamel pins are very popular in this serial killer merch kind of style. These ones, okay, I'll just show you the three here, right? We have the three killers. But what's interesting is in this one, it's posed with fictional killers, as if they're all the same, right? You have Freddy down there, Jason. You even have Jeffrey Dahmer with a bottle of bleach in there. If you want to see my video on why I think fictional killer merch isn't as bad as real killer merch, check out that video. Yes, I made a whole video on it, even though it is common sense, because I got a lot of comments about it. You wouldn't believe. So not only do we have serial killer merch, right, we also have cult leaders who led mass amounts of people to die. Here we have a Heaven's Gate pin. We have, you know, Jim Jones People's Temple Kool-Aid shirt. so offensive to me. Like, why? Who would wear this? Like, it's not funny. It's not a joke that so many people lost their lives. So another phenomenon that I've seen a lot in this world of serial killer merch is that the merch is done in the style of other things, like TV shows, movies, bands, etc. So here we have an Andre Chikatilo shirt in the style of A Clockwork Orange. We have this Albert Fish Hellraiser shirt. You know, obviously he's stylized like Hellraiser. And of course it wouldn't be a serial killer merch video if we didn't have some Charles Manson in there, unfortunately. So we have a sweatshirt that says Helter Skelter and Charles Manson's face on Mickey Mouse. And then next we have a set of pins that are done in the style of popular TV shows. MasterChef, Full House, The Bachelor, Modern Family. And of course they're all relevant to the individual killers themselves. Like, what? How is this even legal, you know, to be able to put The Bachelor and Modern Family and all this kind of stuff? Disney, I'm pretty sure they would copyright that real fast. And also, I just don't see like how any of these companies or shows or movies or whatever would even want to be associated with something like this, you know? This next one is one of those companies I was talking about where it's like some of their items aren't that bad, and some are just straight up just, you know, listing serial killer names, just their last names. My cat is running around. But obviously Murder in Merlot, like, yeah, I don't know, that's passable, I think. But then they also have a lot of merch where it has quotes of killers on there, like they're inspiring in some way, or just cool. I don't know. But then we have a nice cute little flat lay of a t-shirt that says Black Dahlia. Also, sorry, but why the dirty flip-flops? So while we're on the topic of Black Dahlia, it's time we get to the worst merch I have ever seen, and cannot believe that this was even allowed on Instagram at all. Like, they ban, you know, half a nipple, right, on Instagram. Somehow these posts are still up. Again, it's in the style of popular band Black Flag, which again, I don't think that they would find it cool that you're using their logo for something as sick as this. This time doesn't have a picture of a killer at all. It's not, you know, serial killer merch in that sense. No. This time we have the victim of the Black Dahlia murder, Elizabeth Short. Yes. This shirt pictures her crime scene photos of her body as she was found. And if you know anything about that murder, it was extremely graphic and horrific. And somehow this company got away with putting her actual corpse photos on a shirt. Like, but it gets worse. Oh, does it get worse? Not one company did this, but two separate companies that may not even know about each other somehow did the same thing, just different angles of the photo, but also in the style of the Black Flag band logo. So this to me takes it to a whole new level, because wearing killers on your shirt is one thing, like, oh, what if you ran into the family members, blah, 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 right? We always have that defense. But wearing an actual murder victim's body on your shirt as if it's nothing, as if it's trendy, as if it's part of a fit, right? It's just like cute to have a body, a dead body on your shirt. That is gory and horrifying to look at. No one wants to see that at the grocery store, you know? Like, to wear a mutilated body on a piece of clothing casually. I get it, you're edgy, okay? Why are my cats so rambunctious right now? Right now, guys. They're gonna fight. I don't think any merch will ever come close to this. Nothing will ever top this. There's no defense for it, and it's completely disgusting to me. I don't want to leave it on that note because that is just dark, and I want this to be a little bit more informative than me just saying, look how bad this merch is, because I've done that every single time. So we're gonna make this video a little something different. So I actually had a viewer reach out with her own personal experience in dealing with artists that make merch like this. I thought it'd be cool to have a different perspective from someone who's had to deal with artists like this. So they worked as an art moderator for an e-commerce website where independent artists can upload their own works, and it is created into merch based on what items that website offers as merch. You know what I'm talking about? You know those kind of websites where you can like upload your own stuff. So this site that they worked for in particular was highly moderated for stolen and copyrighted content and inappropriate content and inappropriate art. Their company decided to prevent any serial killer merch to be sold from their website. And she said that the reasons for this were, 1, it's disrespectful to the victims, 2, it validates the killer's actions, and 3, it's a legal gray area. So basically, the right to publicity states that a celebrity has the right to profit from their likeness, and thus you cannot create merch and profit off of merch sold with their likeness. You know, you can't create Kim Kardashian merch, for example, and then profit off of that because she has the rights to her likeness and to profit off of her likeness. Does that make sense? This doesn't apply to everyone, so it doesn't apply to public figures such as presidential candidates. So the issue here is, what are serial killers even considered, right? Are they celebrities? Are they public figures? Or are they just regular people? Because they were regular people before they murdered a bunch of people and thus became famous in that way. So there was actually a law called the Son of Sam Law, which kept criminals from profiting off of the publicity from their crimes. I think this was created and existed primarily in New York, but many thought it violated the First Amendment rights of freedom of speech. And ultimately, the Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional, and many states have actually implemented their own similar laws so that they can't profit off of their crimes. So New York has a new law which states that if a criminal is to receive a dollar amount of like $10,000 or more, that the victims or the victim's family have an extended period of time to sue for that money. An example of something that was kind of similar that took place was in the O.J. Simpson case, where the family was suing for a certain amount of money and won. And so when O.J. Simpson wrote his book, any profits that were made from the sales from that book went to the victim's family. So it's a huge gray area of who is a public figure, who's a celebrity, you know, who really deserves that profit of something being sold, and whose likeness can actually be used for personal profit. To me, it seems a little odd that people are profiting off of these, you know, dead serial killers that did horrific things. Like, just a random person, the money's not going to the victims' families or anything like that. It just seems like a legal thing, you know, something legal should be done in these kind of situations. So she also did mention that a lot of the art that was submitted was actual crime scene photos with like a cute filter over them, you know, stylized. So it's not just the 2 companies that I listed that were exploiting crime scene photos. So they said when regular art is rejected, about 30% of the artists will be in contact with her to like question it, you know, but when it comes to serial killer art that was submitted and rejected, about 80 to 90% of them would reach out to her for an explanation. You know, they were wondering, what's the problem, right? And therein lies a big problem. You know, while some artists would understand when it was explained to them that it's insensitive to post, some were apologetic about it. Others wouldn't accept that reasoning at all, of course, thinking, you know, she violated the First Amendment as well, freedom of speech and whatnot, and they would attempt to upload more killer merch just out of spite. One interaction that she said that she got a lot in different variations with artists was that they just wouldn't look into laws or work with professionals or anything like that, wouldn't be professional, and didn't understand, you know, that they don't have the right to the subject of the art. Just because you made something, it doesn't make it original. And it doesn't necessarily give you the right to profit off of whatever the art is based on. You know, a lot of artists just didn't seem to understand the weight of the situation and the impact it could possibly have on others, especially the family of the victims. She also, of course, encountered plenty of people who were genuinely in love with the killers and didn't understand that not everyone wants to be with, you know, school shooters and, you know, of the like. I just think sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect there between the artist and the art that they're creating, and not understanding that just because this happened in the past doesn't make it okay, you know? And it's not just instances of past serial killers that, you know, they're so far disconnected from, they can't grasp the concept of the horrifying things that actually did transpire. Why'd I pronounce transpire as if it had an H in it? But anyway, long story short, I hope that it gives a new perspective as to why these things are so wrong. One, there could be a legal thing going on here, and it's a whole other layer of why it's wrong for random people to profit off of the deaths of others. Please feel free to keep tagging me in posts on Instagram that you find, or sending me things anywhere that you find. You can always email me as well, it's down in the description. Anything that you find, we can always continue these videos, but at this point I think I've done 4 of merch ones, and then a tattoo one. I think I've done, no, that was mental illness memes. I don't know if I've ever done serial killer memes. That could be a thing. Have I done that? Anyway, that's that video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it's not too random for you. For the new people that are here, I'm sorry. This is me. This is what you're getting on my channel. Now you know. Anyway, that's it. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.